Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today we're going to do another chatty review-esque video, this time for Disney's Aladdin. Currently doing a UK tour until the end of this year-ish. So if you want to know my thoughts, my feelings and everything in between, stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So we are back with another review that's not really a review. Why do I say this? We're going to get through it. It's going to take me about 20 to 25 seconds, probably a little bit longer. But for each show that I do 2 separate videos. One being the nervous guide to the show, where we talk my experience and also any content or sensory warnings and things to be aware of before going to see the show. And then we have this video. This video is where we share my thoughts, my feelings and everything in between with the show that I've just seen, and I give what I enjoyed, what I didn't, such and such and such. I am no way professional. I literally just like to talk about the theatre I have seen with my well hard-earned cash. There we go. That was a bit meh. It's not my best work, but in fairness, I am quite blocked up at the moment, and one side of my face is so blocked up I can't really hear. It's fun. But enough of me and my woes in life. Let's talk about Aladdin. Now, I had never seen this show before. It was in the West End about 5 years ago. I never saw it there. It was at the Prince Edward Theatre, but for one reason or another I never got around to visiting that theatre and seeing that show there, which I feel like is a miss, because I feel like it would have had quite the spectacle being in that large space. Alas, I finally got the chance to see the show on its UK tour, which is soon to be wrapping up. This show is currently on tour until January 2025. It's got 2 stops left. It's also got 1 week, as I publish this, it's still in Birmingham. So it's got Birmingham, then I want to say Sunderland, but I could be wrong, and it finishes over Christmas in Liverpool. This show takes the Disney classic everybody knows and loves from the 90s and brings it to a stage. It involves all the songs you know and love, like A Whole New World and Prince Ali and other well-known classics that have escaped my brain right now. It has those songs which were originally written for the film by Alan Menken, and well, with music by Alan Menken and lyrics by Howard Ashman, Tim Rice and Chad Beglin, apologies, terrible with surnames. And all of those songs you know and love are in this version of the show, or this show should I say, but there is also added extra songs such as High Adventure, which for me I quite enjoyed listening to in Act 2. The musical version very much plays on added extras being added by Aladdin's friends. So the trio of best friends Aladdin has 2 songs, one in Act 1, one in Act 2, which have been added for this musical. I actually quite enjoyed both of them, but saying that, I also felt like the show is a little bit too long. Don't know where I would put it, but it just had a bit of a vibe to it. The larger than life creation that is on the stage in front of you has been brought to you with all the Disney magic and flair that you would expect, with a scenic design by Bob Crowley and a costume design by Greg Barnes. Both of those together just work so beautifully. There is a lot of colour, there is a lot of clever little bits and bobs and things that work together to create this magical land of Agrabah. And alongside the direction and choreography originally done by Casey Nicola, you are grabbed from the initial raising of the curtain in Act 1 to the lowering of the curtain in Act 2. You are fully involved in everything and it's just a joy to watch. In regards to cast, when I saw it, we had 3 changes to the normal principal cast. We in fact had 2 standbys and 1 understudy on, which made so much of an interesting experience, I feel, because how often do you get so many principals off at the same time? So for our show, Aladdin was played by understudy who was called Aaron Elijah Patel. I really enjoyed watching Elijah perform as Aladdin. I obviously have no background knowledge on how other people have done this role, but I enjoyed how Elijah did it in my performance. Jafar for our show was done by the standby, and that is Juan Jackson. Again, I enjoyed watching his portrayal of it. I have nothing to bat it against in relation to other performances because I haven't seen any others, but I enjoyed watching Duran do his portrayal of Jafar. I very much enjoyed watching it. Finally, in the standby / understudy realm, our genie was the alternate genie, something that I didn't know was a thing until I stepped into the theatre. The genie is such a big role that it has 2 people playing it. We had the alternate, which is Damien Winchester, and again I very much enjoyed watching him as the genie. Upon reading his bio in the interval, I learnt that he used to do Aladdin when it was back in London, so there is some previous experience there, and I just enjoyed watching him as the genie. It was very fun and everything you'd expect from that larger than life character that the genie truly is. Sticking with the cast, the next people I wanted to mention are Aladdin's friends, the 3 that I previously mentioned, who are Gassim, Babkak even, and Omar, who are played respectively by Nene, Nelson Betancourt and Adam Taylor. A brilliant trio, a great trio to watch. Like I said, they have 2 songs as a trio, one in Act 1, one in Act 2. The one in Act 1 also involves Aladdin, but their characteristics and their chemistry together as that trio, which is just really fun. It's literally like watching 3 best friends having a great time on a stage, and I very much enjoyed watching them. Moving on next to Jasmine. Jasmine is played by the beautiful Desmonda Catabel. Hopefully I just pronounced that correctly because I've literally been googling how to say her name. Her vocals were absolutely stunning. She is a new person to me. I am aware that she took part in the search for a Sky and Sophie for Mamma Mia. I didn't see that show, so I went in fully blind to her and her talent, and she was absolutely incredible. And yeah, perfect depiction of Jasmine on stage. It was a joy to watch. The last person I wanted to mention in regards to principal people is the role of Iago. When I say that Iago in this production, he is giving main character. He is not the like Scrooge like sidekick to Jafar, he is his own being, and in some moments he was much better than Jafar. There was a hilarity about it, but it's just really fun to watch. I should say that he's played by Angelo Paragosso. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly, but obviously the role of Iago has to be the slightly sinister but also kind of funny sidekick slash a second person to Jafar, who is that evil person. But I just really enjoyed their performance as Iago. It was just absolutely brilliant and one of my highlights. The ensemble were also absolutely incredible. I feel like because it being a tour, the ensemble felt not small but like compact, and I'm assuming when it was in the West End, I feel like the possibility is that the ensemble could be larger because they haven't got everything that you have with a tour to battle with. I could be wrong, but it felt, for what it needed to be, perfect. But there is some moments I was like, the big moments, I felt like there could have been, if there was an extra couple of people, something different. I don't know, because overall the ensemble were absolutely incredible. Yeah, I'm gonna finish that sentence there because I don't know what to say. So overall, I really enjoyed seeing this show. It was a fun evening out. I laughed, I smiled, I got brought into the Disney magic. I have to say, growing up, that Aladdin wasn't one of my favourite Disney films, but there is always that little bit of you, especially if you are like a 90s kid like me, who has some kind of attachment to these 90s Disney films, that just makes you really appreciate it being on stage. And it being Disney, it has all the magic that you would expect without being too much or too terrifying. It is a family show that's worth a watch, even if the prices of the tickets were ridiculous, but that's a story for a different day, and I think I did moan about that in my nervous guide. It was incredibly steep. The one thing I do have to mention is, to me, this show had a little bit of an aspect of panto to it. Obviously Aladdin is one of those in the panto ilk, if you want, genre, collection, I don't know the best word, but Aladdin is one of those panto pivotal pieces that everyone does quite often, and I don't know if it is Disney leaning into the panto-ness of it all, but sometimes you were kind of like, are we gonna have to shout "it's behind you" at some point? Which kind of took away from it a little bit for me. I haven't seen it in a few years, but going back to the other Disney theatricals such as Frozen and such as The Lion King, both of those have the Disney aspect but also keep it, I don't know, this one kind of felt, whether it be in the humour or some of the effects, it just had a little bit of a panto-ness to it, which isn't a terrible thing. I, for the last few years, have tried to catch a good collection of pantos because they are a pivotal point of UK theatre, but at the same time paying the amount of money for one ticket to go and see the show, I was just like, oh, it's a bit panto-y, bit panto-esque. But there we are. That is all I'm going to say. And there we go. I'm going to leave this video alone and say thank you very much for watching. Have you watched this tour? What did you think of the show? Who was your genie? Who was your Jafar? Did you have all the people doing things that they didn't normally do? Let me know. But yeah, all I'm going to say now is the usual, which is thank you very much for watching. I love you all lots, and all that's left to say is so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu, bye.